Hey guys, I'm that last drop of piss that you didn't manage to shake out before you put your pants on, but you can call me Church. Welcome to Church on Monday, the podcast where I talk at you about shit I like. This evening I'm drinking an Irish coffee with a dark French roast and screwball peanut butter whiskey mixed in. Now, this whiskey is not good on its own, even on the rocks, even if you cut in a little water or fucking soda, it's not good. But it is pretty good for an Irish coffee, so I'm not going to call it a wasted purchase, but there are some constraints on my recommendation if you would like to drink along. Now, it's fashionable to hate on Bethesda, but the truth of the matter is, I love the work of this game studio. I love their output, at least previous to Fallout 4, and really, I have my contentions with Skyrim, which is kind of what I want to go over in this video, but I want to start out with my relationship with Bethesda and their games. So I'm going to tell a bit of a story. I'm going to start out the summer of my, I want to say, 7th grade year. Now, in eastern Colorado on the plains, we do have this program where if you take the MAPS test, which I believe is a regional standardized test, and you score high enough, you qualify for this program. I cannot remember the name of it, but all of the participants simply called it Nerd Camp. It was a weekend-long summer camp for middle school and high schoolers who tested high. And I've met a lot of good friends through this summer camp. I'm not in contact with many of them now. There was this one girl that I was talking to, who I met there, but she was fucking nuts. But a lot of good memories, fun time, and getting a weekend with people with similar interests. So we got to talk about nerdy shit, and one of those things is commonly video games. And so I was first introduced to Bethesda's output by two of my roommates at this camp, telling me about Oblivion. Now, the Elder Scrolls for Oblivion is a great action RPG, first or third person, emphasizing exploration. And the fun thing was, this was actually my first open world RPG. So, upon the suggestion of my two roommates, as soon as I got out of church camp, I purchased a copy of the Game of the Year edition of Oblivion. And I started it out. I got through the introductory dungeon, the tutorial sewer dungeon, and then the world just suddenly opens up. And since I had never played an open world game before, I was confused. I didn't know what the fuck to do. So I was just kind of trotting along, exploring anything that stuck out to me and trying to find what I was supposed to fucking do, because I didn't have a huge concept of checking quest journals or checking the map, because, it was pretty fucking useless in the linear RPGs that I'd loved up until then, like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. But running around, I finally found myself in the Imperial City marketplace, and I have very vivid memories of just first coming across all this shit and my initial confusion and how I kind of got the idea of what to do in this fucking world. And it was lovely, the landscape was lovely. I had never had such an open experience, and I just fucking sheared it open like my fucking oyster, and I consumed the shit out of it, and I got every achievement in it. I played it over and over again, and I loved it. I love the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I don't think that's a controversial statement. But then my cousin, who was actually a physics professor at Texas A&M at the time, suggested that I play Morrowind because it's one that she had played and loved before. Even though she doesn't play many games right now, she said, if you love Oblivion, you'll love Morrowind. And I fucking did. I I bought it. I remember specifically because I had an Xbox original that I would play Xbox original games on for some fucking reason. And I bought a used copy of the Game of the Year edition of Morrowind, and I played it on my Xbox original, and I just played it there a lot. But my Xbox was dying, it was just overused, and it was slowly dying, so I would get to points where the game would just fucking crash, or things like that, and I'd bring it back into the GameStop and trade it in for another. I'm like, yo, this one doesn't fucking work. Can I try another version of it? And I think I traded it like 3 fucking times before they were just like, there's no way that these game discs aren't working. Have you tried playing it on your 360? And I was like, I was a dumb fucking kid. So I was like, oh, no, shit, I hadn't even fucking thought of that. So, plugged this most recent game disc that I got into my 360, and it worked fucking fine. And I played the shit out of Morrowind, and I played it my first time, honestly, and then I've cheated every fucking time since, because, when you have the dice roll combat, I feel okay giving myself a little extra fucking health every once in a while, so I cheat in it. I feel okay with that. And yes, I play the console versions of all of these. My PC sucks dick, and I've never had the time or patience to, or the money for that matter, to get myself a good PC while I still have my console gaming. So I feel alright with that concession, and I understand what I'm missing. So no need to explain all of that to me. I'm well aware. But I loved the Elder Scrolls franchise. I even picked up Daggerfall and Arena when those became free, and I played the shit out of those. Daggerfall is one of my favorite. It's debatable for me whether or not that or Morrowind is my favorite Elder Scrolls game, but it's definitely between those two. They're just very different game conceptions. So I loved this franchise, and when they came out with it, I played Fallout 3 and New Vegas. I pre-ordered New Vegas, and then I pre-ordered Skyrim literally the day after its announcement trailer. Like, that one trailer where it just shows Alduin's Wall and just has a voiceover and shows you virtually fucking nothing. I pre-ordered it immediately after that because I was like, well, it's the sequel to Oblivion, so I'm going to fucking love it and play the shit out of it. And spoiler alert, I did. I loved it and I played the shit out of it. Now, this was going to be my first midnight release that I went to. I had my parents all down to drive myself and my best friend Tucker up to go to the midnight release and get it and just play it the whole rest of the day. But the thing was, they didn't understand that games release on Tuesday, so we'd have to go up Monday night and get it, and I'd have to be out of school the next day and all that. So that night when I was like, okay, let's head up to Aurora and get going on that midnight release, they were like, oh shit, it's Monday. We didn't realize this was on a school night. And I was like, fuck you. I miss school all the time for no reason anyway, and nobody bitches, so why not? But they didn't want to drive up on a Monday night and stay up all fucking night because they had work, because they were fucking adults. So that's understandable. But the next evening we did go up, pick up the game, and then I just played it and called in sick the next day anyway. But Skyrim, in a lot of ways, was a letdown from Oblivion, for me personally. I loved the graphics. They looked very nice at the time. I liked the leveling system. That was a huge thing for me that I saw an improvement on. But, I went to the blacksmith after the first quest in the first town of Whiterun, and I was like, oh, I don't need to repair my weapons? Oh, okay. And it kind of breaks the economy because you don't give a shit about maintaining your weapons, so you just build up this massive amount of wealth. And even to this day, with the magnificent survival mode that they've implemented into it, yes, it's through the Creation Club, and yes, that is bad, but it's a very good game mode, and I highly recommend, if you haven't played it, get the mod version of it. I'm sure exists, and play through Skyrim with that. But there are a lot of quality of life streamlines that I don't think were totally necessary to the experience, and actually kind of lessen it as compared to the earlier Elder Scrolls games. And I understand waypoints and fast travel. I use those a lot in Oblivion, but people talking about how limiting fast travel and just giving you journals and directions in Morrowind is so much more satisfying and so much more engaging, letting the world kind of speak for itself and letting the player take it in as it is much better in terms of ambience and environment. And I totally agree with that. If they had gone that way with Oblivion, I think it would have been a much better game. But they just overdo it even more with the waypoints and the fast travel and all that in Skyrim. And they dumb down the quests. They dumb down the environmental storytelling. It's still there. It's still great, but it's not as pure as it was in Morrowind and Oblivion. And I think it does a disservice to the franchise. That being said, I have purchased Skyrim like 3 fucking times, so I'm just a contributor to the problem who's bitching that I don't still have what I wanted from this game company that was so near and dear to my heart. So, really, do I have room to complain? Yes, obviously. Why the fuck would I not? But I do recognize that there will need to be some fundamental shift in the company for Elder Scrolls 6 to be the game that I really want in my heart. And I don't think it's going to be exactly what I want. And yeah, that makes me sad, but I'm still probably gonna fucking buy it. Because I didn't get fucked over by buying Fallout 76, so I'm not so hurt by the company right now that I won't get Elder Scrolls 6. But I do hope that they take more lessons from their earlier output and put it back into the company, into their design philosophy. And I really do hope that they can listen to their fans and do better by them moving forward. Really, that's my hopeful take on the Elder Scrolls and the story of my coming to love this franchise. So, that being said, I hope you all have a fantastic week. You can always find me on Twitter and Instagram at its_just_church, or you can email me at churchonmondaypod@gmail.com. So, I'll leave you this time. Love ya. Bye.
No tears, don't fuck with more yet. Take what you can get. You're not my girlfriend.